Hey, what's going on, y'all? I just wanted to throw something up on the channel here. For some of you, you may or may not know what this is. This is a server rack UPS. This here is what you'll find in a lot of corporate IT rooms, holding into the rack with their servers and stuff like that. I deal with a ton of these, and a lot of times they'll send a new unit, the whole new unit here, for replacement, and we got to go in there and power everything down and switch everything out to a new unit. And I end up with a lot of these, and sometimes you can just end up changing out the batteries. And you'll see this battery pack here is kind of probably familiar to some people. This is a kind of what you'll see in your if you're a parent, you'll see it in your child's get one of those battery operated motorized vehicles. This is kind of what you're going to find in those Hot Wheels machines, or whatever they have out there, the Barbie Corvette, whatever else. Goodness, see, it's all dusty anyway. But yeah, so this UPS, I mean, it's the same if you see the other units. And UPS basically is a surge protector with an automatic power inverter built in. So when the power goes out, this is what takes over, is these 3 12-volt batteries, 9 amp hours. These are all wired together in series, and they're taped together, pulled in here. So sometimes you can just go ahead and find these batteries. Sometimes they're about $20. I've seen them low as $10. Very rare nowadays because everything's coming from here, and there's a lot of logistic issues still, a lot of supply line issues getting products. So yeah, most of them, if they're even in stock. But yeah, if you end up with one of these, or if you find some of these, they end up being literally door stoppers at some of these IT closets, because they'll send one, but there's no return label, because yeah, a lot of times these are useless. This one here actually is one of the ones that's actually useless. The batteries are bad in it, but also the unit just won't power up whatsoever. So I figure while I'm in the process, and this is what I normally do anyway, and it's one more thing I'm pulling out of the warehouse here, and actually have another one that's actually good, and I just got to change out the batteries, these here. So I actually have to get 4. These are just the 3 here, but I have one that's a 4 battery, the same 12 volt, 9 amp hours, and these here are easy to change out. Like you saw me slide it out. You just pull the tape off, and when you change these out, you can go to a Batteries Plus. You can get them on Amazon a lot of times. But yeah, I end up with these, and they're usually sitting around all the time because they never return label in them, so they end up stacking them in the corner. So it's a ton of e-waste that never gets dealt with. And these batteries eventually, even though they said that they are sealed, if they keep it together here, the charges sometimes actually still go through and start burning and melting these side walls, and they are difficult to get in and out. I actually have one in the warehouse like that I gotta pull out again. So I figured while I'm doing this, I'll do a quick video, something different than just the radio stuffs. But hey, we deal with all kind of tech stuff. I just got to remember to record it while I'm doing it. So I'm gonna go ahead and tear this one apart, and if you have access to any of these, if you find them on the side of the road, please do your part with the e-waste, and take it home. And especially if you do stuff with technology, you can reuse some parts on them. First foremost, look at this power cord. That's a great power cord. I put a Velcro strap on that, but yeah, so the first thing you can do is snip that sucker off. There, you got a nice power cord. You can either put an adapter on it. I've seen a lot of people do that, and you know, the batteries were already out. We can reuse these cables. It goes to a set of terminals and inside here, so quick terminals. But yeah, I'll show you what's inside one of these. If you haven't seen one of these, you'll know what you're dealing with and why these things are so stinking heavy. Because as you can tell, I can pretty much lift these lift this battery, even though that's pretty decently heavy, but it's not terribly heavy. But this thing's still ridiculously heavy. What else is in here? Well, we'll show you. Pull that lid off. I already did all the screws. Man, oh man, it's not really busy except for that thing right there. See all that? That's all copper wire. I started doing a little disassembly. Figured I might as well do this video while I'm in the process here. So I've started to take this out. Nice big toroid coil here. Another one on this. Got a couple on the board. Got one back there on the board. And of course this is the connection that was to the battery. So there's a set of connections. I mean, just simple snap through connections here. I can take this adapter off here and just this thing will come apart and it'll be easy, just like this. I can either take this apart or use that metal and screw that back together, just like it did here when I had to take it apart in here. But yeah, normally you just take that door and do everything here, but like I said, this one here doesn't work. But man, you see a ton of serviceable parts in here. Very module design on this as well. Nice hot heavy gauge wiring here and here, and this big toroid coil is actually what the weight is. This thing is bolted straight through the center of this, and that's basically a larger version of this, but so many wraps on this and so many taps as the individual in and outs on these apply. And we have all the well, I'll show you the back here. You know, we have this is a daughter board. This whole thing comes out. It's kind of snapped in like the old school computer boards. So it's one of the daughter boards here, and we have all the heat sink and everything going into here. So everything I'm sorry, the plugs here, I'm looking at other parts while I'm talking at the same time. You know, computer fan, nice screen on that. I could reuse that. This is an in and out for RJ45, which basically is all just diodes that go in the direction so it doesn't reverse polarity. So the inset goes one way and then the outset goes the other, so it can't reverse. But yeah, it just has that and transistor in it here. But yeah, that's it on this. It's not even connected to anything in the board here, but that's a, you know, a reverse thing for I mean, I wouldn't want to have that just wide open Ethernet inside a case like this for a surge, but there's better ways to do that. Anyway, we got the you know, all the power you know, regular 110 outlet, so we can pull the screws off here. We can save the screws. Have a nice resettable adapter there, because that's easy to take off. There's our cord. We don't have to snip it. We can get right into the board here, because majority of these all have the spade connectors like that on there. Respective wiring, all these boards are usually replaceable. As you can see, it just has a little bit of what looks like you know, white gunk there, but easily peel that off and get those connectors too. So each one of these boards is actually separate module design. That one there you can pull off. That one actually is a interface card we don't have. It looks like we have some decent heat sinks here, decent capacitors, and I mean, look at that nice 40 amp bank of resistors here, all put together, because you can see it goes in one way, goes through, and then comes out the other side here. So this is a just basically a 40 amp jumper board, and it looks like, I'm not sure, I'll have to see if they're actually able to be pulled out, if they're in the socket, or if they're actually soldered in, because otherwise, I mean, that's 40 amp fuses. That's great. Menagerie of a relays here. Tons of different transistors. High wattage resistor down here. A couple over there. Not sure what went bad in this unit, but it seems like we have a decent amount of cabling we can use. Even this going to you know, even all these coming together, I could just basically make a just get a 4-gang box, take this and plug it straight through, do a nice connection, plug it in here. I wouldn't have the protection of the surge protection, but you would have a quick set of outlets right there. If you take that as well, take that, take all these outlets, put it all together, and yeah, you would at least have an extension of an outlet. So if you did need a surge protection outlet, these would be surged as well. It would be better protection if each one was individual, but a quick extension cord for that many outlets going through this unit. But yeah, this is neat. This is cool. This is stuff that I'm gonna pull apart and get all these components out for e-waste and see what I can use. And sometimes I play around with being able to practice boards, soldering. You know, a ton of different resistors. But if you have a component tester, you can test these components, find out if any of these are bad, see if that's causing the issue. And if it's not, then we you know, you can reuse those components. Of course, there is a different lifespan on those components, as long as they're within tolerance, and they have you know, the resistance of the ohm rating still within tolerance. You know, you make sure that's in that 10% range, and then you know, make sure your capacitors, if they're electrolytic, they're not leaking, and you know, make sure they're within tolerance. And I mean, yeah, you could reuse components, and you know, whatever you don't use, I mean, you can reuse these relays. I mean, you can make a grab bag and sell them on eBay. Look at, they're all the same anyway. So pull all these stickers off, and if you got one of those desoldering tools like I do, it's, you know, easy to take all this stuff off a board real quick. So I may just end up doing that, keep parts. Look at that, cool little test points you can solder in and still have a test point option. A couple different things. So great little heat sinks, tons of different transistors down there. So yeah, definite component tester would help out tremendously. And these high wattage ones, if they work, I'd more than happy to save them. And a couple transistors and stuff that, you know, anything that's universal. You know, this board here, I don't know what possibly is on there. A lot of surface mount components, but stuff that's not surface mount components. I mean, resistors are dime for 100 if you really wanted it, and everything else here. But yeah, instead of just throwing this thing in the trash, and it's awful to do, especially with this thyroid coil, it's worth a lot of money anyway, and someone could actually use that on eBay too. You could actually put that on. I know the part number should be on the other side, but that's pretty much the transformer. That replaces the old school transformers that you see in some of the wire round ones that are, looks like big block, and it's wrapped around. This is just the same, but yeah, there's high quality stuff in here, and yeah, I would test this stuff out, but I'm gonna go ahead and pull it. But yeah, I just wanted to show this stuff to you, and appreciate y'all coming along for the ride, and see a ton of subscribers that have shown up. I appreciate y'all. Stay tuned for something cool coming down the pike in the next new couple of videos, and yeah, we'll get a couple of these batteries while we can for my other unit in the warehouse, and we won't have to call this one a success as far as getting in here and be able to easily pull all this apart. It's very easy. All the screws, everything is very serviceable and very easy to pull out. So not having to unsolder any of these wire connections makes a very, very big difference. But just goes to show you all this stuff is usually serviceable. But yeah, I don't need this one. I just want to get rid of it, and I just don't have the room for it. And shipping charges because of this coil and stuff, it'd be a pain. But if I get this in to somebody on a flat rate box, you know, packed really, really, really well, that'd be kind of easy way to go. But yeah, this is inside of just a big UPS unit, and they get even bigger. These coils get bigger, they get extremely heavy. You need about 2-3 people to manage them, to get them into the rack, because yeah, they got I've seen $10, $15, $20 20 bank batteries, and they have different banks exterior to that as well. They're holding the whole server rack up. So yeah, this This is a great cool little unit here, and just I'll step up that the voltage here from this batteries, and provides, you know, the regular 110 through it. But yeah, pretty cool power inverter and everything in it here. But all right, I'll thank y'all. See you in the next video. 73.